Come on in. 30-minute live stream. Come on in. A 30-minute live stream. Come on in. I'm only doing 30 minutes because I think I got a video that's supposed to drop at 9. I'm pretty positive I have a video dropping at 9, and then I got to be somewhere at 9:15. And then I'll be back probably about, I don't know, maybe 12:30ish. No, maybe 1:30ish to finish up what I'm saying. I would like to see how it all plays out first. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is a very significant day on the battlefield of us, the people, versus the globalists. The reason why it's a very important day on the battlefield is because partly, number one, today is the day of the debate between J.D. Vance and Tampon Tim. And I submit to you that J.D. Vance is going to stump the crap out of Tampon Tim, number one. Number two, today starts the beginning of the port strike all throughout of the southeastern region. Now, I want to state for the record today that just as Kamala Harris and forget Joe Biden. Take Joe Biden, just move him out of the equation. Because he ain't doing a damn thing but sitting on the beach. I'm going to state for the record today, as Kamala Harris should have went to the location of the disaster from the hurricane, showed face, and played politics while bringing resources, and she did not. The same thing shall happen with this port crisis. Somebody should be there negotiating. I'm about to say, boy, how you going to park in that little bit of space? Somebody should have came to the table and started negotiating with these dock workers to bring an end to this. But nobody's going to do it. Nobody in that administration is going to do it. And so we are about to go through a short squeeze, kind of like in the stock market, where they squeeze the stock to where it crashes. America is being shorted. We're being squeezed until we crash. And I know people sitting there saying, DW, what the hell are you talking about? Well, truthfully, anytime you have a hurricane go through the Gulf of Mexico, start slamming into the ports where all the oil refineries and everything is, it just messes with the gas prices. So now we're going to have this squeeze in goods and services based on the ports, which are going to increase gas prices. As gas prices increase, the economy starts to rupture. Remember, when Donald Trump was in his interview, they was like, "Well, Donald, what are you going to do to help the economy?" He says, "I'm going to focus on energy. I'm going to bring your energy costs down by 50%." There's a reason why, because that's one of the most significant costs that everybody faces every day. So a spike in gas prices means people spend less money. A spike in gas prices means businesses deliver less packages. It's crazy. My nose is about to stuff up from pollen. And so I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that we're getting ready to go through a squeeze. A serious, serious squeeze. And I don't like it. But the truth of the matter is, I think we got to go through it. I really do believe America has to go through this in order for Americans to wake up. In order for Americans to sit there and say, hey, dude, this Democratic Party crap that we rolling with, it ain't going to work. And we don't need to vote this way. Because there's still a segment of the population that's asleep there in a slumber. Because it hasn't got inconvenient enough for them. It just hasn't got inconvenient enough. They can still go to work. They can still go to the store. They can still go and buy stuff they need for their kids. They can still go and buy things they need for their pets. They're aware of the fact that their dogs are food, but there's no inconvenience. They can still get their medicines. Everything that they traditionally need, there's no shortage, there's no nothing. And so, although it's expensive, it's still comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Although it's expensive, it's still comfortable. And it has to get to the point to where it's completely and totally uncomfortable in order for them to all understand. And I don't like it. I don't want to have to go through it. But that might be something we have to go through. It's a sad thing. It truly, truly is a sad thing that there's a possibility that we have to go through that. But nonetheless, it is what it is. And it's going to be what it's going to be. So, here's what I anticipate tonight at the debate. You got J.D. Vance, you got Tampon Tim. And one that comes before destruction. You got J.D. Vance, you got Tampon Tim. Tampon Tim is going, I'm not sure where is this debate at? Is it on CNN, MSNBC, CNBC, Fox News? Where's the debate tonight? What channel is it on? Does anybody know? Does anybody know what channel the debate is on tonight? Damn it. I just dropped all that ash on my shirt. Shout out from Anthony from North Carolina. CBS, thank you. So it's on CBS. That's not going to be fair. But nonetheless, it's better than being on CNN, MSNBC. So here's what's going to happen. You're going to witness Tampon Tim get eviscerated. You're going to watch him get, what is it called when they cut you from, you're going to watch him get disemboweled, is what you're going to watch happen on the debate tonight. Because Tampon Tim cannot stand up to answer any questions as about the campaign, about Kamala, about her, whether she's black or whether she's Indian, whether their record on what they plan on doing while his presidential nominee, who's his partner, is in office. He can't talk about the border. He can't talk about the economy. He can't talk about anything. Excuse me. There's nothing he can actually talk about that of substance. For example, let's say they brought it to Springfield, and J.D. Vance says, well, under the Biden administration, your vice president Kamala Harris has been importing in 100 or some thousand illegals per month. Tampon Tim can say, well, they're not illegals. They came in under the TSP program. And he gonna say, well, just because Kamala says they're not illegal doesn't mean that they're not illegal. An illegal program importing illegal aliens in is illegal. And so I don't see an area where Tampon Tim has an advantage. They just announced that they're investigating him for his connections to the Chinese Communist Party. I don't see an area where he has an advantage at all, other than sitting there and kind of like acting folksy and dumb. I just don't see it. I can't find it. And I've been thinking. Hillary came out and said the October surprise is going to be about Kamala Harris and how social media is going to attack Kamala Harris. They know something. It can't just be about Kamala's background and her parents. There's got to be something very significant that's going to come out about Kamala that's detrimental to her campaign, that's going to provoke them to call for censorship of the internet. There better not be no scratch on my skin. It better not be. Okay. Something significant. And I'm trying to figure out what it is. At first, I'm thinking it's Kamala, the Diddy connection, because she was into that whole dating Montel Williams, probably went to a Diddy party, wild out. Makes sense. But it's got to be more to it than that. It's got to be significantly more to it than that. I don't like how my nose is stuffed up right now. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what it is, But I will say this: something's coming down the pipeline in the month of October, outside of them, the Democratic Party, which is going to do their real life witchcraft to try and help them win. Um, Something huge is coming down the pipeline, and it's like you would have thought that the assassination attempts on Donald Trump would have been kind of an October surprise thing. It would have been lined up to be the October surprise. That wasn't lined up to do it. War is kind of off the table at this point in time because Trump met with Zelensky and basically checked Zelensky saying, hey, when I become president, when I get the official, when I become president-elect, all the rest of this foolishness goes away. So Zelensky is sitting there saying, all right, the election is on November 7th. We're in October 1st. I only got a few days. I need to chill. So that whole boom, 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 let's blow up the whole world stuff, that ain't gonna work. So that's off the table. Israel going and mollywopping people. They didn't get any support from Biden, so they just went off on their own and did what they were going to do. So that's not really October surprise. It's got to be Kamala. It absolutely has to be something to do with Kamala. Think about it. You can't have an October surprise on Donald Trump because what the hell are you going to say about him that you ain't said? I mean, what the hell are you going to do that you ain't did? What can you do to him other than blow him up and kill him, which makes the situation worse? If that man gets, let's say they literally blow him up, blow him out of the sky, it makes the situation 10,000 times worse because you turn him into a martyr. So you can't really do that. I don't even know. It can't have nothing to do with him. Every piece of dirt you can dig up on the man has been dug up. Everything that can be said about the man has been said. It's really nothing you can do with him. So it has to be come out. Now they can take this port thing and squeeze it and try and crash the economy and do all the rest of this crazy stuff. And now if there's a strike, I want to be clear with you. If there's a strike on the West Coast, then we got us a serious problem. The East Coast is a problem. But if they start talking about striking on the West Coast, we got some major, major problem. And the thing that got me about this strike is, when you go read the articles, the head of the union says, we're striking because we want an 80% pay increase. An 80% pay increase. Insane. Jay, you want me to acknowledge you? You keep on saying the same thing. Let me acknowledge you. Jay, what you're saying is stupid. Okay? What you're saying is dumb. They're installing her. Jay, what you're saying is dumb. It's just dumb. They're not installing anyone. They're trying to destroy America. She's not going to be installed. They're trying to destroy America. All right, watch this. Back to the port crisis. Back to the October surprise. The only thing it could be is something that deals with Kamala. When you look at it, she's got the worst numbers that anybody's had as it pertains to a Democratic nominee, the worst numbers ever. She's doing worse with Latinos. She's doing worse with... Wow, that's what it is. Wow. She's doing worse with every demographic that you can think of than any politician from the Democratic Party has ever done. Period. Wow. They're going to try and crash. They know they can't win They don't care whether they win or not. They're gonna go for the gusto. They're gonna try and do the steal. They know they're gonna lose, and they're gonna wreck everything. They're gonna wreck everything. And she's the perfect puppet for them to wreck everything under. Wow. And it has to be that way. It has to be that way because even though Donald Trump is a phenomenal businessman, only God himself wants the glory for saving America. And so everything got to fall. Wow, 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 wow. That's crazy. Well, wow, 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 wow. That's crazy. I heard they got a whole bunch of illegals from their parole program going into small towns in Alabama now, in southern Alabama along the coast. I know for a fact we have 5,000 of them, excuse me, in Louisiana right now, in New Orleans. And by the way, um, 5,000 in New Orleans. And by the way, the ones that are the criminal element, they're taking naps right now. I mean, they're taking real naps right now. Somebody said, yeah, in Mobile, Alabama is true. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, but it's not bad. It's not what we want. But I mean, I don't think we have any control over any of that. There's only one person can control all that stuff. Well, let it be what it's gonna be, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Let it be what it's gonna be. I'll say this about the open borders, the sleeper cells, the terrorist cells, the Venezuelan gangs. A lot of that stuff is going to come down to what state and what city you're in. I like what Legacy says, stock up on the essentials. Um, and Alfred is right. God going to have his glory. Watch this. A lot of that stuff is going to depend on the state that you're in. So if you notice, the state of Texas came out and put a $5,000 reward on those gangs to run them out of their state. So it depends on the government of your state and, quite frankly, how conservative your state government is going to be. If your government of your state is extremely liberal, you can expect, as, for example, the prediction about the port and the destruction at the port, the disaster of the port's closing, and go worst case scenario, where everything crumbles in 30 days because there's no resources being moved back and forth, which means that the federal government is obsolete to anything that you really care about, right? Take that for an example. Now it's your state government that's going to make all the decisions. If you live in a liberal state with dumb liberal governors, mayors, who know nothing about economies, who are only going to follow the lead of the globalists, you're going to have a problem on your hands. You have a major problem on your hands because they was in on it from the beginning. And so I remember back in the day when you had Q come out and they were talking, you had Steve Buchanan come out, and I think he came out on the back end of Q. Now Steve Buchanan was the real deal version of Q. Yeah, Steve Buchanan come out and he started explaining to people that the power was going to go back to the states. That all the power was going to go back to the states. And we've seen that happen. Wow, he said that prior to Donald Trump coming in office. He said all the power was going to go back to the state level. And he kept on saying the federal government is going to become obsolete. The power is going to be taken back to the state level. And wow, so even in the situation of, wow, that's crazy. Even in a situation where we're facing the extreme worst case scenario, the states who've been managing their budget well, the states that have less corruption, the states that have more services in place for their residents, will be the states that thrive. Yeah. Somebody say Hillary's worried about pizza. I think that's interesting that for a very long time on YouTube, if you said her name with that, they would ban your entire channel. That's how I knew there was something to it. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's a significant number of political figures on the Diddy tapes, man. I want to say that the Diddy tapes are going to play a role in this election. But even the Diddy thing is in a tough situation. So imagine for a second, do you Epstein Diddy? Do you Epstein Diddy? What happens if you Epstein Diddy? I think it hurts them more if you Epstein Diddy. At any point in time. There would have to be a scandal break loose so bad, so horrific, and you need a narrative change so bad. It would have to be something, just a story break that's insane for them to Epstein Diddy. And I personally believe, I don't have the insight into the FBI, but when you raided that man's compound and took all of his tapes and everything else, I'm under the belief that the FBI will go in and they'll watch all the footage. And they probably will take their friends, the guys that they support that were at those parties and events, and they're going to delete that footage. And they're going to leverage that against who they want to leverage it against. Now, it could be that they seize that footage to leverage it against certain celebrities that they need to support Kamala. It would make sense for that. Like certain Hollywood people, they said, man, we seize this so we can leverage them. Hey, if you don't do this, then we'll do this. Because they all function by blackmail. That could be the case. But I'm not sure how it plays out. 100% sure how it plays out as it pertains to this upcoming election. But if they are going to use it, whether it's like a good guy or a bad guy who has it, if they're planning on using it, time is running out for them to use it. So we're going to see some signs of it relatively quickly. It ain't going to be like, you got 30 days, 60 days, 90 days to use it. Now is the perfect time that if you're going to use that leverage, that you use it now. I still submit to you that I think his indictment and arrest was a distraction from everything that was going on in Springfield and the election still, which was them importing people in and flying people in. When that hit the news, Diddy got arrested immediately. So I still feel like he was a distraction. I feel like they burned him, ran him through the news cycle. Because think about it. How many of you guys really pay attention to Diddy on a daily basis prior to this? You know what I'm saying? How many of you guys prior to him being indicted gave a damn about Diddy? Just answer that question for me. Jay, you've been talking a lot. How many times, Jake? 0. Thank you, Jake. So the average conservative don't give a damn about Diddy. But guess who give a damn about Diddy? Guess who give a damn about entertainment news, celebrity news? Jay said Cat Williams put them on. Watch, guess who give a damn about entertainment news and celebrity news? Minority liberals. But guess who they were dropping these Venezuelans, Honduran people, that not you. Venezuelans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, and Cubans. They were dropping them into their neighborhoods. So watch this. When the Springfield thing came out and Springfield got everybody's attention, it made their constituents say, hold on. Are they dropping these people in my neighborhood? Then it started coming out about Chicago news. And Chicago people in Chicago saying, yeah, they dropping them here with us too. That was hurting them in the polls. So they put Diddy in handcuffs. And so now all those people are like, yeah, it's Diddy this, Diddy this. They ain't worried about what's going on in their neighborhoods because they're paying attention to Diddy. I feel like it was just a distraction for their people. You know what I'm saying? I had a chick knock on my door yesterday. Over though. She's like, I'm on the campaign for Kamala Harris, and we're here to talk about who you decide you're going to vote for. And I said, well, what made you think that I'm going to vote for Kamala? And she was like, well, we were looking at our rolls. I said, I'm not on a Democratic roll. And she just sitting there looking crazy. Now, I know I'm not on the roll for the Democratic Party. Not in Louisiana, I'm not. That's not possible. So she goes to give her spiel for Kamala. And I said, look, I know you out here doing your thing, being a door knocker, because you probably related to somebody, or you connected to somebody that you think you're going to get power. I threw a few names out there. I said it's either A, B, or C. I said, you think you're going to get some kind of power, some kind of control, or you really believe in this woman. I'm not sure which one it is. It really don't matter which one it is. I said, but here's what you need to understand. You're knocking on the door to get people to vote for their own destruction. You're ushering in your own destruction. And I close the door. Boom. Ain't nothing else to talk about with you, shorty. And I'm going to tell you, I grew up with parents that were entrepreneurs. My dad's an entrepreneur. My mother was a teacher. And so they were politically active. So I would be the little kid on a street corner with the sign doing like this, waving the sign, hey, vote for this person. When I was 12, 13 years old, we would get paid to go wave the sign, hey, blah, 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 blah. I was a kid that when I was 15 years old, I was in a room with the investors who would be putting money behind campaigns. They'd be like, okay, we need you to organize and get these kids to do this, this, this. And then I come and they're trying to shortchange me my money, and I will come back with a bat into a grown man house to get my money. So I'm not lying to you when I tell you I understand how this system works. Like, New Orleans is one of the most corrupt places you'll ever find. They got a whole TV show talking about how corrupt New Orleans is. And people, hey man, have you seen the show? Why do I need to watch the show? And then you start telling them that's this person and this person, that's based on this person and this person. That can't be real. Okay, bro, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to make America moral again. Yeah, we all missing morals in this nation. He got him a G-Wagon. Go ahead. I remember when that kind of stuff used to mean a lot to me. Guys, how I got 241 people and 91 likes? My man said he went to OPP for public drunkenness. They put you in the back or they held you in the cell? I mean, they held you in a holding cell, they put you in the back. I'm just saying, man, it's amazing how idealistic people gravitate towards politics, and money hungry and power hungry people gravitate towards politics. Holding cell, and then to the dorms, 10 days. Yeah, when you go in the back, it's a whole nother story back there. And it's always those people who are ideologues. Once they get close to that machine and they really see the machine, you get a choice. You can either go with good or evil. It's kind of like the Wizard of Oz. You find on a yellow brick road, everything is cool, and you get to the curtain, and the curtain opens up, and you're like, what the hell is going on around here? And then you got a decision to make. And when I look at the current state of the Democratic Party and the people in the Democratic Party, it's like they have zero survival instinct, zero um, intuition, zero discernment. You know what I'm saying? Absolute zero. Because maybe it's because of the ideas and concepts that have been rooted as priorities in people's minds. The more I think about it, it's got to be because of the ideas and concepts that have been rooted as priority. That's the only thing it could be. For example, if your priority in life is to be rich, I mean, that's your top priority, is to have money. You'll do anything. If your priority is to have power, you will do anything. If your priority is to be in league with your emotions and your feelings, you'll do anything. You'll do absolutely anything. There we go. Yeah. Somebody said it's Uncle Ruckus at the border throwing bricks at illegals. That's the terrifying thing about what we face. It's people who believe in liberal ideas and ideology. I mean, they've accepted it, and they love it, and it's a part of their soul and their spirit. Not even realizing that the people who put that in place utterly despise them. I remember when I watched this. I remember I was in college, and I got a phone call to work on a campaign for the Fields family. You look up the Fields family in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They're like black royalty. And I go to this meeting, and they want us to kind of work on students on campus and get them out to come out to vote. And I never forget this. And I just never left. It's etched and burned into my damn memory, unlike anything has ever been etched and burned into my damn memory. We go through this process of organizing these students to come out and listen to one of them speak. I'm not gonna say the name of the one. And I hadn't met him yet. I only had met his brother. And so I'm standing, it's wintertime. I'm standing outside with a pea coat on, a black pea coat. Collar uniform was always all black everything. Before everybody had the all black everything, I was wearing all black everything. And I'm standing by the door, waiting for them to come. And him and his brother walk up. And the brother doesn't recognize me. So I'm just standing there. And he talking to his brother. And he says, man, I'm tired. Let's hurry up and go in here and talk to these niggas and get this over with so I could go home. And then me and his brother lock eyes. And he put his head down. And then he walks up to me, say, hey, man, I want you to meet James. He's one of the guys that helped organize this, blah, 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 blah. And I remember the look on the guy who was running for mayor's face. It was this look like he saw me and then he wanted to turn the switch on, but he knew I heard what he said and he couldn't turn the switch on. And in that moment, it was like, yeah, I said that. What you gonna do about it? And I remember shaking his hand and squeezing his hand in a manner which I tried to break every bone in his hand because he's a powerful man, the man of power. There's not much you can do. because I'm not mistaken, he was a state representative at that point in time. And I literally try and break every bone. And then he looks and he pulls me with him. You coming in here with me. And then we all walk in the door together. Kind of like, you know what the real deal is. You understand what's really going on. You might as well come with me. Yeah, that was wild. And when I realized they didn't give a damn about nobody. There's also, when I got offered to pay, I got offered pay to really help them. But whatever. When you come to the realization that they don't give a damn about people, it's a shocking revelation. And so when I say to you, when you get out of the ideology phase and get to the reality phase, you got a decision to make, because you're no longer blind to what it is. You know what I'm saying? There's no blindness to you. You know what it is. So when you make a decision to go down that road, which a lot of people do, keep in mind, I was just telling you about the young lady who knocked on the door and how I knew what I was telling her. And hearkening back to the Wizard of Oz. That was a Wizard of Oz moment for me. That was a curtain being pulled back moment for me. You know what I'm saying? Then later it got to the point to where the conversation would be, hey man, this is a volunteer army. Like, you volunteer to be in this army. Nobody recruits you. You volunteer to be in this army. And it's true, it's a volunteer army. You volunteer. Nobody come, that you volunteer on your own free will. That's what it is. It's blood sport. Yep. And I'll tell you this. That same machine that's ever turning, because that machine never turns off. It's always feeding new people into the machine. And it stamps an imprint on new people. And then it feeds them into another wheel. And that first stamp feeds you to another wheel. And then you get a second stamp. It's like having a passport into that political system. You get the right stamps, you can go all the way into the White House. But as you go through these levels of getting stamps, there's some things you're going to see that you don't need to be a part of, unless you just love power that much. You know what I'm saying? I guess people love power that much. I love money that much. Yep. I'm sorry. I'm talking to y'all and reliving stuff while I'm talking. Nonetheless, tonight's going to be a crucial night in the world of politics. Normally, a vice president debate is not really important, but because Kamala Harris doesn't really talk much, all she does is laugh and giggle, and people going to want to hear what Tim Walz has to say. She actually put Tim in a bad spot by not going out talking. By going on bullcrap podcasts, talking about a bunch of nothing. She put Tim in a bad spot. And so people going to be gunning for Tim. Pop, 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 pop. And I think he's going to get chopped down tonight. Well, I know he's going to get chopped down. Think about it. Not too many people nationwide have even heard Tim Walz speak. Nobody's heard him really articulating the ideas and concepts. They've heard sound bites of him talking, but nobody's heard him actually speak. So since nobody's heard him speak, everybody's going to tune in, because even less people have heard Kamala speak, and she's not getting another debate because she lost the first debate. Everybody's tuned in, and all the pressure's on him. Quite frankly, I have never heard him in a debate format or speak, because he's just not that interesting. You know what I'm saying? Something happened with this live stream a few seconds ago. What almost went out. What time is it? What time is it, guys? It's 9. That means a video just dropped. And it's time for my 9 a.m. prayers. I'll see you guys in about an hour or so.